Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I'm Ellie Witch Lady, and today I'm going to be talking to you how I got into witchcraft and Wicca as well, because I do class myself as a witch with Wiccan tendencies. So I'll be showing you as well some books that kind of got me started on this path. So without any further ado, I shall just get straight on. Back in 2008, I was in a relationship with a guy, and I had been living with him and his family for the best part of a year. By the sort of, I don't know, February, March time, the guy that I was seeing and living with, it was his family home that I'd moved into. So it was very kind of them to let me stay there, because they were basically like my stepping stone from Yorkshire back to, you know, I say back to, but from Yorkshire to London. Because obviously, as you could tell from my accent, I'm from down south, from Stevenage in Hertfordshire. And anyway, so yeah, so I was living with him, and I had an idea he was cheating on me basically, and I found a place and I started renting the place, even though I hadn't fully moved into it, but it was just sort of like a 10-minute walk from where I was living with said partner. And anyway, so I started renting this place, and then by the end of March, beginning of April, so around my birthday time, I had a good strong idea that he was cheating on me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So in the end, we were having a lot of arguments, and then we broke up literally a couple of days after my birthday, and I completely moved out from him and his family home and into this new place. So anyway, at that time I was in a real mess. I was working, and I was in a real, just a big mess mentally. And I kept thinking back to Christianity and thinking, oh, you know, maybe I'd go to a church and pray, maybe something will help me get through this. And then I happened to be online one day, and I joined this forum, and it was actually David Wells' forum. He's a psychic medium in the UK. So I joined like the forum that was kind of dedicated to him, as it were. I got talking to a few people, and it just started from then. And that, I would say, when that happened, that was sort of by the June time. So me and my partner had split up in the April, and then I had May, June, and that was it. So 8-9 weeks of sort of despair and not knowing what's going on, and hoping that I could get back with my ex, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, so by the June, I found this group and on this forum, and got talking to people, and they were Wiccan, and you know, they practice witchcraft. So I looked into all of that, and I even went to the library where I was living. With everything I was going through and I was struggling, it seemed to me, the more I was talking to these people online and that, it just sort of made sense to me, the spirituality, you know, connected with paganism. And I spoke to people saying that, you know, I'd experienced paranormal things in the past, and, you know, spirits and this, that and the other, and it kind of all mingled together, as it were, because I found with Christianity you can't be open with, you know, sort of being into the spiritual side of things, or, you know, believing in ghosts and all that. I found that it was very constricting, you know, to live your life by a book. That's why I was so happy when I found people like myself and very spiritually minded. And, you know, I think I've always been a witch secretly somewhere, and I think I didn't feel like I could express that while my grandparents were alive. So maybe that's why by the age of 26, as I say, back in 2008, that's when things, you know, the snowball started rolling, as it were, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And witchcraft and Wicca has been a really big part of my life. And yeah, and as I say, I'm just glad that I happened to be online that day and chatting to people on that forum. And, you know, I'm so pleased, because it helped me a lot. And I see things very differently now to how I did back then. So it was like a new chapter in my life. But anyway, so when I went to the library and was looking through the books in the sort of spiritual religious section. First book that I stumbled across that was also recommended to me was this one. So this one is obviously by Scott Cunningham, and it is called Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. And yeah, so this, I read this from cover to cover, and it's got so much in it. Let's have a look. I haven't read it for a long time, so. But yes, so basically you've got section 1 and section 2 and section 3. So section 1 is like the theory, you know, behind it all. So Wicca and shamanism, the deities, magic, tools, music, dance and gesture, ritual and preparation for ritual, the magic circle and the altar, the days of power, the spiral of rebirth, and concerning initiation. So that's, I mean, that's probably more if you're going to be in a coven, you know, with a group of people. But then you can dedicate yourself, you know, if you believe in the goddess and the god, which obviously Wiccans do, then, you know, you can dedicate yourself to them. And you know, that's your way of life, that's your belief system. It says section 2 is practice, and it says exercises and magical techniques, self-dedication, ritual design. And then on to section 3 is the Standing Stones Book of Shadows. So this is an introduction to the Standing Stones Book of Shadows, word to the wise, the seasonal festivals, a ritual of gestures, recipes, which are great. You know, I love, I mean, I haven't done it so much recently, but I love when I used to, you know, bake and everything. I put in my magical thoughts and my intentions into what I was baking and what I was creating. So, but yes, what else do we have? A herbal grimoire, a guide to the use of herbs and plants in Wiccan ritual. And as you saw the other day in my last video, I have got like a lot of herbs and things that I use, and I'll be going into that in another video. That's one to look forward to. So yeah, okay, and yeah, so we've got Wiccan crystal magic. Love my crystals. That's going to be another thing that I'll show you, my crystal collection. Hopefully I can remember the names to all of them, because I'm not great with names. But yeah, so I'll be on to that. Symbols and signs, rune magic, spells and magic, and also the seasonal festivals. So obviously we're in Yule at the moment, so this is his sort of Book of Shadows and the way he worked, because obviously he's not around anymore, he's not alive, Scott Cunningham. I think he passed away in 1993, so a long time ago. But this book, to me, it's like a real staple, because it's one of the first books I read. And as I say, I more probably, I do practice witchcraft a lot, and I do have my Wiccan tendencies, but I don't solely follow everything that's Wiccan. So that's why I just say I'm a witch and I practice witchcraft, and I have some Wiccan tendencies, you know, like believing in the goddess and the god and all the rest of it. So this book, I mean, you can get it off of Amazon or eBay or anywhere really. I would say I started off as Wiccan, and I was obviously practicing witchcraft and things like that. I would say as I've got older, so since, I mean, I'm now 39, so as I've got older and sort of moved through my path, it's kind of taken me more onto the witchcraft side of things rather than solely being Wiccan, as it were. It's, I would say I'm probably more eclectic as well. I just, things come to my mind and I'll use them in a spell or a ritual, and that's kind of the way I work. So as I say, I just do witchcraft, but I do it my own way, and you can do it your own way. You can do a lot of reading and a lot of research and see what pulls you in, you know. So for me now, it's just everyday witchcraft, and that makes me happy. And as I say, I'll just do my own thing. So this is another book by Scott Cunningham called Spellcrafts, and this has been a book that I've just sort of dipped in and out of when I've needed information or some ideas for a spell or a ritual. But the contents is part 1 is beginnings, and you've got the magic of hands, the true meaning of craft, what is magic, and empowering your crafts. And then part 2 is the ways. So it's magical simmering pot puree. We've got a psychic mandala, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A pentacle protective plaque runic dice. Ojos, I don't know what that is. And a shaman's arrow. Sand painting, the corn mother, tapers of power, a spell broom, a protective hex sign, spell banners, spell bottles, which, as you know, I did the other day, flower garlands, what does it say? A prosperity trivet, there we go, spell pot puree, a magic mirror, spell boxes, the powers of wheat, and then the next part is colours, shells, herbs, stones, feathers, woods, and that is basically all in here. So if you're new to paganism and you're, you know, sort of not sure what you want to do or which path you want to follow, I would say, as I say, read the Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner, just to get an idea. I think it's good to get an idea. And then if you are sort of more inclined, like I am now, to the witchcraft side of things and just sort of doing that, then, you know, this is great. This is a lot of information in it as well. So as I say, Scott Cunningham books are like my Bible, as it were. They're 2 really good books. I'm going to stop jabbering on now because, you know, I know I was banging on about everything before I got into witchcraft, everything with my ex-partner and things like that. And don't get me wrong, you know, there's people that have said to me, oh, I bet you feel like putting a hex on him. And I'm just like, I don't wish him ill will, but I think everyone has that little dark side of them that when they have basically been screwed over, there is a part of you that's like, oh, I hope they're, you know, having a horrible time of it. But I don't want to be like that. I used to be like that, but I don't want to be like that anymore. So anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up here, but I'm going to be doing more witchy videos in the coming weeks. So yeah, I'm just going to be, obviously I'll be showing you my herb collection, my crystal collection, more of the books. I know you can see them behind me, but I'll be talking a bit more about them. But yeah, that's it really. And obviously showing you when it comes to each Sabbath, then I'll be showing you what I do at that time. And yeah, that's all I can think of really at the moment. Anyway, so if you've enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, please hit that bell notification so you get notifications of all my latest videos. And if you've got any comments or questions, pop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. But for now, it is goodbye, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Blessed be, and see you again. Bye for now.